Fat, ugly, and loser. These are negative labels. These and many other labels we use as human beings on a daily basis to destroy and even simplify our God given lives. My name is Ryder Rivera, and God bless you first and foremost. In this video, I want to talk to you about the dangers of labels and how they're used to control our everyday sense of being on a conscious level and a subconscious level. Before we get started today, if you have any interest or any thoughts, or if you even just like the video, leave a comment down below and do definitely share this with somebody that would also appreciate it. Let's get into it. So, what even are labels, you may ask? To me, they're names that we apply to pretty much anything and everyone throughout our entire life that we use to just understand the world around us. I mean, we use them to communicate with each other, we use them to tell each other what we are, who other people are, X, Y, and Z. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward, simple thing to understand. Why they're so impactful is because we don't understand how powerful our words can be, how powerful labels can be. Now, I want to use an example of two people that you may know very well. First and foremost, let's use the homeless man. We call this the homeless man. We call this person the homeless man. It's interesting because in our culture today, it's very normal to look past or even walk past or ignore or even disrespect homeless people. And I want to put that towards the fact that as soon as we identify someone as a specific label, from me to somebody else, or from you to somebody else, we're fixated on what that person is, on their being, what they identify as right in that moment. And that stops us in many ways, let's use the homeless man as an example, from being able to look further into them being a human being first. Let's look at another example. Let's say gas station. I live in New Jersey, so we have guys that pump our gas, right? I've never touched a pump in my life. I've never pumped my own gas in my life. Never had to. Not yet anyways. Hopefully I figure it out when I get there. But we have people that pump gas for us, right? Now, what if we call that person just the guy that pumps gas? We label him the guy that pumps gas. That's it. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go out, or myself included, have to go out of my way to have a full-blown conversation and have a whole developed relationship with this person. However, it does stop us sometimes from being able to move forward in seeing the humanity in other people, this guy included. I mean, how many times have we seen, not even necessarily with this person, but many times as we're out there in society just walking around, just existing, that we just look past certain people because we identify them as a specific thing. We label them as a specific thing. Consciously, we might be thinking about this on a regular basis while we are moving around in life. But there's also a point to the subconscious where we're not even thinking about it. We just have knee-jerk reactions to certain people that we may run into. People that we already know, people that we don't know, people that we stereotype even. And I'm not going to sit here on a high horse and act like I don't, or you don't, or anybody in the world doesn't stereotype people. Because I will say, to a certain extent, everybody does, especially on a subconscious level. Now, what I want to focus on is how labels impact you, as well as how they impact other people, how we view other people. I already started with that one a little bit, so I want to focus more so on how that affects you and me, how we talk to ourselves. Now, for me, personally, I noticed as I would go out in life, and for whatever reason, I would make mistakes. Sometimes I would call myself stupid, or call myself dumb, or call myself an idiot. Whatever it might be, some kind of label, just attach it to myself. Something that I noticed is that, let me disconnect from this example for a second, which is we really do become what we call ourselves. We do become what we identify with. We become that thing. So, in a sense, if you want to see change happen to you in your life, it really starts on an internal level of what we're doing to ourselves on the inside. It really changes. It really changes depending on what we tell ourselves on the inside. What are you calling yourself? What are you saying to yourself in these moments when you are challenged on a day-to-day life? What are you saying about other people on a day-to-day life? Back to my example where I would call myself these names and such whenever I would make a mistake. Let's forget the part of where they come from for a second, but more so the fact that it's just happening. So in this moment, I'm just constantly degrading myself every single time I'm messing up or making a mistake. This leads to depressing states of mind, or feeling like I'm not good enough, or anger or frustration. Many other things under the rainbow of emotions. Then I started realizing that this was taking place in the first place, that I was actually doing this to myself. So what I started to do in turn was, on a conscious level, paying attention to the times that I would make a mistake, and instead of destroying myself and degrading myself, I would help myself out by identifying or labeling myself as something a little bit different. Maybe that's me saying, it's okay. It's okay, people make mistakes. You're fine. I mean, these are just affirming things, but they're still helpful. Then you start moving into, even for me, you're normal. You're a human. You're saved by Jesus Christ. What you identify with is so important in how you operate on a daily basis that it truly just controls your being all the time. When you're thinking about it, when you're not thinking about it, how you act, how you talk to people, how you identify with yourself, how you identify what you identify with, the people that you identify with around you. Sorry if you heard that car. That literally changes you. So what should we do knowing all of this now? And to that, I want to point to scripture, and I want to read something from, I believe, I have my Bible right with me. It's Proverbs 18, verse 21. Just one verse. And it says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof." The power of life and death in the tongue. Our words, let's even expand it to communication. How we communicate is so important, and it is a weapon to an extent. In a negative sense, in the death sense, it is a weapon. On the other hand, on a loving sense, in the life sense, it is something that can be used to build not only just yourself on the inside, but as well other people as well, and the relationships you have around you. So what you label things, what you identify with, and what you label other people, as well as what they identify with, is so much more monumental than you may realize. And I want you to pay attention to this, because this is how you can create another level of change in your life, by paying attention to this. I want to focus on the second half of that verse, which was, "And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof." Now, what is the fruit? What is the fruit thereof? In the Bible, we talk about trees a lot. And a very quick example is, we also talk about planting seeds. So imagine you plant a seed, you grow a tree, and we know in the Gospels that Jesus says that you shall know them by their fruit. There is a little bit more context before and after that leads into that verse. However, it is a verse that, even without context, has a plethora of lessons in it. You shall know them by their fruit. So you're growing a tree. Let's say the tongue. The tongue is your tree. What you speak from the tongue, you will understand what is being done by the fruits that come from what is being said. The fruits by what is coming out. The fruits of what is happening to the people around you and to yourself as well. So that's why it's so incredibly important in how you label things and how you identify things. And pay attention to that, because you might be skipping over a certain something in yourself or a certain someone in someone else. A relationship that you may completely have missed out on. Or maybe even just levels of life that you may be missing out on because you're not paying attention to the fact that literally, I'm so serious about this, on a subconscious level, you are labeling things more than you could ever imagine. And that could have been happening since you were younger, so you would never know. You wouldn't even remember it. We learn things since we're younger, but just because we don't have the memories of these things doesn't mean that it's not happening. So it's worth going out there and investigating and paying attention to the things that we have learned in the past. Pay attention to what you're saying. Pay attention to the power of the tongue. Pay attention to what you're doing. You're going to figure out. My battery's going to die. So hopefully I can make this quick. But pay attention to your tongue. Pay attention to what you're saying. Pay attention to what you're labeling. It will affect you on a day-to-day life, whether you like it or not. And if you want to create change in your life, and I hope you're doing well, but if you want to create change in your life, another thing that you should look into are these labels that I'm talking about. Be careful what you label yourself as, and be careful what you label other people as. I hope this helps you out, and if you had any thoughts, or if you did like the video, do comment down below, and definitely do share the video. It was nice talking to you. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. God bless you.